So yeah, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this topic and kind of get your thoughts on it. I had a situation where I had a friend of mine come to me and was telling me about a situation that they were in where their niece kind of confided in them some information that they didn't want their parents to know.
Their biological niece.
Biological niece,
Okay.
so their sister's daughter,
Yep.
I believe.
Okay.
Sister's daughter comes to you and says, hey, X, Y, and Z, please don't tell my mom. I just need somebody to talk to about it. And it wasn't even like an advice thing. It was like, this happened. This is a decision that I made.
Okay.
How do you feel about that, right? Because
How old is the niece?
Teenager, I think. High school. So
I know, but there's a range there.
like 16?
Okay.
16?
So she's a sophomore.
Yeah.
So 16-year-old girl goes to her auntie and says, "Auntie, I made this decision. I'm doing this. I don't want you to tell my mom or my dad, but I needed somebody to talk to about it."
Exactly.
Okay.
And like I said, I always thought about the fact of, as that person that's being confided in, for one, it puts you in a weird spot, right? Because do you hold to that, request of not repeating the information, or do you go to the parent? How would you feel? I mean, you have kids, obviously, both parents. If you were in a situation of the parent where your child came to someone close to both of you guys, confided in them with something.
Yeah, I mean that's happened. That's definitely happened.
And they didn't want you to know. Were you? Did they come and tell you anyway?
I don't think so.
But you found out eventually.
Yeah.
You found out that they knew.
Yes.
Were you upset?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I knew you were gonna take that
Really?
stance. Yes.
Would you be upset?
No. Talk first, and I'll tell you.
No, I've been talking a lot. You talk.
Well, I want to hear about this though. So you were upset.
I mean, yeah, I can't remember. I think it was one of my parents, or it might have been my sister. I can't totally remember.
But one of your kids went to them with something.
Yeah.
And they didn't bring it to your attention. And you were upset with them.
Yeah, not like, I mean, yes, I didn't get, it wasn't like a major thing.
But
it
you
was
just
like,
let them know that you weren't okay with it.
Well, I told them that I said that I thought there was a way to handle this. And I think it depends what it is, right?
True.
Like, and it depends how old the kid is.
It depends on who this person is they're confiding in.
Exactly. Ultimately, you want the kid to feel comfortable talking to somebody.
Right.
And if you blow it up, why didn't you? Then that's a problem, because then that kid might shut down and not sharing anything.
Right. We agree on that.
And that's critical. But I do think as adults, it's important to make a decision. Okay, they confided me in this. I think I should talk to the parent about this. And it may be a situation where it's like, look, you can't fuck up this trust that your child has in me to come talk to me, because then they might not talk to anybody.
Right.
But you need to be aware of this, depending on what it is. There's
is.
some things you don't have to fucking share, right? But I do think it's important to give the parent the respect that, hey, your child, this is going on with your child. What do you think? Because the person who received that news, they might not advise in the way that the parent believes is the right way.
True.
And ultimately, if we're talking about under 18, that's still that parent's choice to talk, to sort of advise or to direct their kid in the way that the values that they think are appropriate.
Very true.
You got to be careful about taking that away from a parent, which is what I got upset about.
And I agree with that. And I think that I might sit on two different ends of this depending on what position I'm in.
Sure. No, I get that.
If I'm the one that is confided in, I think I have to tell the parent. Depending
Anything?
on what it is. No. I mean,
but if you think can you give an example of something that you think you'd have to go to a parent with? What was did somebody get on birth control? Did somebody do drugs? What do you remember what happened?
Oh, I didn't even ask. I didn't ask specifics. Right. But I'll answer, and then I want you to kind of think about this while I talk. But give me an example of something that you would want to know as the parent, right? And you can kind of think about it for a minute. But I think if I'm the one confiding in, I'm going to go to the parent most likely, kind of the way you did. Like, listen, this is a situation. I'm somebody that a lot of people close to me trust. You know, I'll even get their input on how do you want me to advise this situation going forward.
Right.
Now, if I'm the parent, right, I think the relationship between me and my child matters a lot in this, right, depending on how close we are. But I also think that depending on who the person is that they confide in, I would be okay with them not bringing it to my attention. Now, again, depending on what it is.
Depending on what it is. Yeah, exactly.
So I think as the parent, my main focus is, okay, my kid needs somebody to confide in that they trust, that I trust as well. I'm kind of okay with that. Now, there is a boundary with that. If it's something like I just caught a body, then I need to know that. You know what I mean? Like I killed my best friend on accident type shit. Like I need to know that. You know, smoking weed, something like that. That might not really make me upset. Now, the tricky part is how do you feel towards the child in that moment?
Right.
Because it's like, damn, I'm your pops. You couldn't just come to me.
Yeah, and that is an important question. My answer to that would be that it would make me look inward, right? Like I would say to myself, okay, why doesn't my child feel comfortable talking to me? And the answer just might be that sometimes your parents, even if they're doing things the
right way,
as good as they can, it's still your parents. But when that happened, it definitely made me think about, okay, well, what am I doing that's making them not feel comfortable? But I certainly wouldn't feel a way towards my child for that, because ultimately they just needed to get something out, and they looked around their village and said, okay, that's the person in the village that I feel comfortable with, and that's why the African proverb is so fucking that everyone uses it. It takes a village, because it does. It might not be the parents that are the right person to go to. But the good news now is that, I'm pretty much all of my kids' first call, with the exception of one, when something jumps off, or when they need advice on something, which I'm
like that for every fucking body in my family, man. Like, it's crazy.
It'll be interesting to see if it's the case with the kids.
And it's funny, right? Because with Josiah, he's like, it's so hard getting him to talk. It's like, oh, how you doing? How's everything? I'm fine. It's like,
right.
Well, what's up? Like, yeah, I'm good. It's like, I don't want to force it out of him, but I think about that, right? And I even talked to his mom about maybe getting him in therapy early. Even with that, right? How would you respond to? Do therapists have to tell you what they talk to you?
No,
it's almost the opposite, right?
It's the opposite,
depending on.
But I don't know what the ethics are when it comes to a child. I mean, I think ultimately a therapist, if they think the child is in trouble, they're going to talk to the parent. But
chance of harming themselves or somebody else.
Exactly. But I think for the most part they try to keep it between them and it's client-patient, it's client-doctor privilege, right? You're not supposed to share that. But I think if they felt that there was
someone in danger,
right? That they would speak to the parents. Do you think that you'll be different with Josiah as you will with Jordan because of gender?
That's a great question.
I know. That's what I do, man. That's what I do. When I conversate,
up, bro.
When I conversate, man.
I think naturally, yeah.
Well, why naturally? Yeah.
Because with Josiah, I've navigated the world up until this point as a African American man, so we relate more in that aspect. And I just think with boys and with daughters and the father, there's always that fear of, and I am kind of that in my family, right? I'm like the grumpy one, and I'm not mean to my kids. Me and my kids have a lot of fun with each other, but I'm like when I walk in the house, my nieces and nephews kind of like, they
tighten up.
Exactly. And I've never whooped neither one of my kids. I've never whooped my nieces and nephews, but just big boys, bigger guy.
You're the more serious one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm like the authority figure in a way, kind of. So I just think naturally when fathers are in that role in the family, the daughters and the sons even are probably more scared of the reaction, the response. Like I'm one of those. I can just give Jordan a look and she's petrified.
It's funny because I've seen it the opposite way. She gives you a look and you're fucking petrified.
Well, yeah, she runs me. You know what I mean?
I know, I've never seen this.
She doesn't.
I've never seen
but she's
this.
so young. She doesn't really know how to use that manipulation tactic to the full potential yet.
She's pretty good at it.
Oh, she's great at it. She's great at it, but she doesn't realize that like she can get away with damn near anything yet. Like,
Yes.
you know what I mean?
Okay, but now let's fast forward 14 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
She's 16.
Mm-hmm.
And she's into boys, and maybe she says, fuck, I want to get on birth control.
Mm-hmm. She confides in that into someone else.
Well, first of all, I mean, she's only 2, so like, is she 2 or 3?
She'll be 3 next week.
She'll be 3 next week. So I mean, she's a fucking toddler, but I mean, this
is a real conversation.
It comes faster than you think, bro.
Pause. It's a real thing. It's a real conversation.
Thing, and I've experienced it and lived it, and I want to definitely share my experiences on it. So, 16 years old, she wants to get on birth control. Who do you think she's going to talk to when that comes up? No, I mean, we're projecting what relationships are going to be, but like,
I'm hoping her mom.
Why wouldn't you want it to be you?
I mean, it could be me, but I think those type of conversations, I think she would get more out of that conversation with her mom.
Why?
Because I don't know what it's like to be on birth control.
That's true. Okay, but attached
the fact
to
of being sexually active and all those things.
That part of it, you certainly have something to talk to her about.
For sure.
Okay, and go ahead. Finish what you're gonna say. Because
I'm open to that conversation. I'm open. It was like, oh, don't come talk to me about it. No, but I just think that, navigating the world I'm hoping that she can talk to both of us about it collectively. Obviously, that in a perfect world, because there's a perspective I can give her and her perspective
sure.
my mom can give her.
But you don't anticipate that at 16 you'll be like, what the fuck you mean you want to have sex?
No.
Oh, okay. So
I don't think so.
And so Josiah is 16. He starts feeling himself and looking at women, and so he comes to you and says, "Dad, I mean, hopefully," and that's what we get into. Hopefully, you will have already had. 16 is too late to start having these conversations.
Sure.
That's what people don't realize.
Right.
That's too late to be having these conversations.
Well, I mean, it was Josiah's in the 3rd grade now, and like, I want to say maybe 1st grade, he came home with a crush. Telling us though. See, and he's different than me. I never would tell my mom I had a crush.
Right.
He tells his mom he has a crush. But he's.
Did he tell you?
Well, his mom always tells me. So by the time he gets to me, he knows I already know.
Okay.
So we talk about it, all the time, and like he's the type like he'll FaceTime me like, "Daddy, did my mom tell you?" And I'll be like, "Tell me what?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna ask this girl for her phone number at school." Like, but it's like, it's always that double standard of that's my son. So it's like,
that's what I wanted to get to, the double standard.
Right.
So you have a double standard.
Yeah, I mean, if Jordan comes to me in the 3rd grade and says she likes a boy, it's probably going to be a different response.
Why?
But for obvious fucking reasons, bro.
I don't think anything's obvious about that.
Because it's my little girl, it's my little princess.
And she has to develop sexually as well.
True. It's just.
So why are you putting in it this?
Oh my God, bro! You're trying to be so politically correct.
No, I live this.
Okay.
I have a daughter. My oldest is a daughter,
and
like, I feel very strongly about this. Like, I don't, and you're not doing this, but right, there's the guys, I'm finna have my shotgun, man.
And I think the reason why I'm not like that is because I grew up with an older sister and a younger sister. My younger sister is 6 years younger.
Well, and you also know all the dads who are like that, their daughter was in the back.
Exactly.
Bang, bang.
Exactly. Yeah, behind for sure.
In the fucking bleachers.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's just what happens, right?
Sure.
And my point though is that I promise I'm not being politically correct, but we are all beings and we are all sexual beings, and so our daughters need to develop that way as well, and we want them to develop that way in a healthy way. And so my point was always with it was, I remember when my daughter Napresha started, she was into boys early. She was boy crazy early, but like when she started like wanting to go out on dates, what I always asked and didn't happen a lot of times was, if a guy wants to take you over, just all I want to do is come to my house, knock on my door, introduce himself. That's really all I'm asking for. Only a handful of guys did it. So I did that.
What about you as a young man? Would you be that guy that would go?
I actually did a lot, yeah.
Yeah, I'm cool with meeting dads too.
You know, and it was, maybe it was stupid because I was doing that and I was fucking them that same night. But it's like, my point is like, you know, you're not a nice guy just because you do that.
True.
I don't want to.
True.
But my point is, it's a level of respect and acknowledgement. Yeah. But that obviously all the dudes my daughter interacted with didn't come knock on the door.
Right.
And so
I think that is a bit extreme.
What the fuck you mean extreme? Just to knock
every
on the
guy?
door?
Come on, bro. Don't be ridiculous.
That wanted to take her out. If you want to take her out, if you're going to have my daughter out on a date, why you can't come over and introduce yourself to me?
Because that's extreme, bro.
Obviously, because only one or two did it.
Just like maybe when they start getting serious.
And you're that age group, too.
Yeah. Like I said, in a perfect world, I want both of my kids to be able to talk to me about anything.
Well, but you just said when it's my daughter, it's going to be
in different. The 3rd grade, bro. I'm not gonna cheer. My son, he's like, I'm about to ask this girl for my phone number.
And you're cheering it.
I'm not cheering him, but I'm like, oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, but
my daughter, it says, hey, Dad, I like this boy. I'm asking for his phone number. For what?
Why is it?
I don't know, P. I don't know. It's just different. You're asking me a question.
You need
I'm
to
answering
talk to
it.
your therapist about that. That's not okay. That's not okay.
P, you are full of shit right now,
I'm not
bro.
full of shit. I literally live this. I never had different rules for my daughter than my fucking sons.
In the 3rd grade. I'm not saying in high school.
Look, the only reason the 3rd grade is relevant
because Josiah's in the 3rd grade right now.
Because you brought it up that he did that. And
in the 3rd grade. No, I wasn't like that. I'm laughing when his mom told me because his mom.
I saw it.
His mom
saw the little smirk on his fucking face.
The way his mom tells me is his mom is really like. She's the type to just randomly send me a text like, damn, we really have a 10-year-old. Sure. So it's like when you get to experience these things, and he's my firstborn. So it's like, damn, my son is really growing up, bro.
Yeah, he is.
And then it's also a proud moment because, like I said, when I had crushes on girls and shit, I wasn't vocal about it with my parents. He's going to his mom, telling her that.
Mr. Stanley, we have not. Okay, go ahead, finish.
No, because you already interrupted me, so don't stop now.
You're very prideful that your son is already got fucking a few people, a few breezies.
No, I'm not.
In the 3rd grade, if my niece comes home, is like, oh, I like this guy, you're gonna have a whole different reaction, and I'm upset about that. I'm not okay with that.
So what am I supposed to say?
You're supposed to talk to her about it. Oh yeah, tell me about it. You cannot do that immediately because then. At 12, she's not coming back to you to talk.
But I'm not saying I'm gonna like make her feel bad about it or shun her about it or anything like that.
That's kind of what you said.
That's not what I'm saying. But there will be more of a like. Well, Josiah is nothing to talk about. Oh, okay, that's what's up.
This is why because they have.
But with her, there is gonna be a conversation.
Why?
You just said I'm supposed to have a conversation with her. You said talk to her about it.
Why is the conversation different?
Or
why, the conversation is different in terms of. Men and women have different things that they're confronting, but your attitude towards it shouldn't be different.
I don't know, bro. I don't fucking know. Like, what do you want me to say? I don't know. I don't know, bro. And again, who knows if this is all, hypothetically speaking. So if this happens, I might not give a fuck. Because I'm that guy. I've never been, like I said, bro, I grew up with a pretty younger sister. My older sister is pretty as well. My mom is pretty. So
Beautiful,
it's like
all of them.
But I never got in their business. How
did you turn out so ugly?
Bitch. I never was that guy like when my little sister would bring a boy home and it's like, oh, dick measuring content. Like I never was like that. So I don't think I'm gonna even be like that with my daughter either. I'm not gonna be like mean mugging the guy or nothing like that. Like,
no, I don't think you'll be that, but I'm just based on what you said with Josiah, 3rd grade, everything's hunky-dory. We can, you getting a number. Hey, okay, son. If my niece does it, well, that's a problem.
I didn't say it. Don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say it was a problem. I just
said you weren't going to feel good about it.
I didn't even say that, bro. All I said was that there's probably going to be a different approach.
Okay.
To the
12
situation.
years old. 12 years old.
Jordan
Josiah, start with Josiah. Josiah's like, hey, Pops, man, I I'm gonna go to the movies with this girl. Oh, okay, son, here you go, $50. Go to the movies.
You need a
Comes
ride?
back. Huh?
I'm gonna say you need a ride.
That's right. Okay, you're gonna say need a ride. You gonna say anything else?
Be safe.
What
Call
does that
me.
mean?
Call me if you need me.
You gonna have a discussion about condoms?
At 12? I know.
Do we need to go through your fucking history?
No, we don't.
Camera? Would
No,
you
we
like
don't.
to do that now?
No, we don't.
Okay.
No, we don't. But no, I'm not. Not at 12. Not at 12. But I think by 12.
So 12, he goes out. You don't have
hold
the
on.
conversation.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Because you asked me a question and you start talking.
Go ahead.
So at 12, I think by that time we're having those conversations on the regular.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So then you're going to have those conversations with my niece at 12.
No.
Okay. So then now 12 o'clock, 12 years old comes along. You haven't had these conversations with my niece. She goes out and gets knocked up because you ain't had the conversations.
I don't want to put an age on it, bro. I just think when the interest in whoever is when the sex talk should start
12
happening.
years old is 7th, 8th grade, right?
Yeah, 7th grade.
And you don't think that conversations about sex should be had at 12 years old? That's too late. Bro.
I'm not saying an age on it, bro. I'm saying
an age on it. This is not like a mystery,
So
bro.
what's the age? What's the age then?
The age is like fucking 10, 11, preteen. You start having these conversations, man. It doesn't mean you have to get hella graphic with it. Okay, so my kids went to a Rudy Tooty private school in El Cerrito. Mm-hmm. And they had a sex ed class that I think they started taking in 7th grade. And there was a big controversy because there was a gay man who taught the class, and he was very graphic in the teachings. And a lot of the parents was very up in arms about it. Didn't bother me one motherfucking bit.
Good that the teacher was gay?
No, they weren't upset he was gay. They were upset because some of the content was very graphic.
And it didn't bother you at all?
Absolutely not. You don't think at 12 years old that there's a good chance. Let me ask you this. At 12 years old, did somebody come there with their phone with some porn and y'all saw the porn clips?
At 12?
Yes. Don't. You full of shit.
But we didn't have these type of phones on.
Okay, somebody, you saw a porn clip somewhere
Before
between
I was
11
12.
and 14 years old.
For sure. Probably before that.
Probably before that.
Yeah.
You want my niece and nephew to fucking talk about what that means with the onion heads they hanging around with?
Of course not, bro.
This is my point, bro. Like this idea that 12 years old is that's late to be talking about sex. There are studies. This isn't a mystery, is my point.
Right, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I've never had a 12-year-old yet. You have.
No, and I'm just telling you, it comes quicker than you think. Josiah is about to be 12.
Right.
He's 10.
Right. 9, but yeah.
I mean, it's time for us both to start talking to them about
That's
this
true.
shit. We don't have to start talking like hella graphically, but like it's a process.
Introducing it.
And there are actually studies for this shit of when you should introduce shit. And gender is not the fucking deciding factor on what you talk about, is my point.
But okay. I don't disagree
I'm not upset
with
you.
Of course not.
This is what men do.
And I don't care if you were upset with me, but I don't know, bro. I just think some of those conversations, and I'm not disagreeing with you one bit, bro. I just think for me personally, I'm hoping that Jordan and her mom's relationship is tight enough to where she can introduce that conversation, and I can be of support.
Why you got to be supporting actor? Why you can't be the fucking
because
lead?
I never lived life as a girl, bro.
That doesn't matter. Like, yes, the point you're making is you need both parents. With my daughter, and I would say this, if her mom was here, I would say this in front of her. This is not a knock on her. She's an incredible mom. But when it came to those things, she wasn't as comfortable. My daughter talks to me about that shit more than her mom. She didn't miss out on anything. She got the male. In some ways, getting the male perspective or the female perspective is better.
True.
You know what I mean? Like when I'm gonna give you an example of a very graphic conversation I had with my daughter at probably 14, 15, 16, when she was talking about guys, and I was like, the way she was talking, the way she was acting, like she probably gonna fuck pretty soon. Like, I mean, come on, bro. We know. You know, if you're being honest.
Yeah,
you
I'm
know.
not in denial about that.
I'm not saying you. I'm
Right,
saying,
right.
We,
In general.
we know you can catch the vibe. You can see it.
Right.
And so I was like, I need to talk to her about this. So one of the things I told her as a 14, 15, 16-year-old was I said, well, look, whatever you do, I want it to be your choice.
Right.
And I want you to do it because it's what you want to do, not because you're seeking affirmation or validation or value or worth
In that
or from someone else for that.
Right.
Whatever you're doing, it has to be because that's what you want to do. I said, but you need to know this. As soon as that dude hit his nut, he's going to see every imperfection in your body, every imperfection in your face, everything about you that he might not like. I said, I can't explain it, but that's the reality. And years later, she's like, man, I remember that one thing you said to me. That shit is so true. Now, that's not something that a woman would tell a daughter, probably. You know what I mean? Because they don't know that.
True.
So you can give her
That perspective.
the perspective that has value in it, and ultimately, the gender of the parent, I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter, but it's not. If you're being an honest broker, if you're being, if you're not putting the emotion or your own ego into it, which is what a lot of men do,
Right.
you know, and it's usually men who are very promiscuous at a young age doing that shit.
Right.
And if you're doing that, then you have an honest conversation that it could be really helpful for your child. And I think we have to, as men, not treat our daughters differently as they develop sexually than we do our boys. The boys, it's a conquest, it's a badge of honor. You know what I mean? With our girls, it's a shame. She's too young. Come on, man. Why? Why?
I don't disagree with that. I agree with that.
Because it doesn't surprise me because I know how you are in terms of like you're not one of those guys who trips about body counts and all that shit.
Right.
So like, or how old was the girl when she lost?
Right. Yeah. So childish.